If you're playing with the thought of buying a smartwatch, but you have no clue which one to choose, since there are hundreds of smartwatches to get, then this Smartwatch Buyer's Guide will be just perfect for you. All the smartwatches that I will mention today, I have tested every single one of them and covered them in a separate video. So you can just check out the description down below after this video to get more infos about those smartwatches. Alright, there are many things that we gotta consider before we buy a smartwatch. So first up, not all smartwatches are compatible with every smartphone. So this one is pretty basic, but Apple Watches will only work if you're running an iOS device like an iPhone. So in that case, you are very limited. The other case is if you are running an iPhone like I do, there is a possibility that not all of the features that you have on your new smartwatch will work. The only example that I can think of right now are the Fossil smartwatches. These one right here. In that special case, you cannot reply to messages, which you normally can if you would run an Android smartphone. So the first thing that you have to check out, which phone am I running and if it's fully compatible to the watch that I want to get. So we want to get a smartwatch and we are searching for smartwatches over in Google. And there will be a lot of smartwatches that are going to pop up. And every single one of them is a little bit different from the other. And all of them are from different brands. Most of you probably already have a certain brand in mind, but let me just give you my personal list of top smartwatch brands. I will rank them in 3 classes, so the top brands from smartwatches are Samsung, Apple, Garmin, Google, and Huawei. Even though Garmin is more focused on sport watches rather than on smartwatches, but the Garmin Venue 2 series, especially the Garmin Venue 2 Plus, can easily compete with all of those other smartwatches. The second class of smartwatches, which are still very good but just not that top tier, are Xiaomi, Amazfit, Fitbit, TicWatch, and Fossil. Even though I love Fossil smartwatches, but there are levels to what an Apple or Samsung watch can do. And my third class of smartwatches are Polar watches, with the Polar Ignite series being in the smartwatches that I would like to focus on, Realme, and OnePlus. It was actually pretty tough to make this list, and some would definitely disagree with probably 1 or 2 picks like the Fitbit or the TicWatch. But this should be a good rough guideline. I mean, there are hundreds of other smaller brands which you could technically put in a separate fourth class like Hospit, Let's Fit, Poco, Hailu, and all the non-name products that you can buy over on Amazon. Also, just a small tip if you decide to buy a rather cheap smartwatch on Amazon. Most of them that look alike are actually the same watch, just from a different brand or a different brand name on it. They all buy them from one factory and put their names on them. Just check out the product information that your Amazon gives you. Alright, enough of that, and let's get over to the person that is using the watch. Since there is one big question that you have to ask yourself. What's the intended purpose? Some of the smartwatches have a better battery life, which means if you are someone who likes to go on short trips over the weekends and don't want to bring the charger, you should look for a smartwatch which comes with a good base battery life without having to activate the battery saving mode, which will strip you from a lot of your smartwatch features. Watches that have a good battery life are basically all the Huawei watches, Amazfit, Xiaomi, and I think you can put Garmin into the mix as well. Huawei watches will normally last around 1 full week or normal usage, and Garmin more or less like 2 to 3 days. Apple, Samsung, and Fossil smartwatches may have a whole lot of features, but all of them only last for about 24 to 30 hours, which means you will have to charge them every day and basically treat them like a smartphone. You also have to find out if you're going after the smart functions in a watch, or do you want to have an accurate built-in GPS and health tracking. Of course, if that's the only reason why you want to get a smartwatch, you can switch over to one of the mini sport watches. But if you don't want to miss out on any of the smart functions, you have to stick to a smartwatch. Alright, there are actually only 3 smartwatch brands that have a good and accurate health and GPS tracking, and that is Huawei, Apple, and Garmin. But all of them are pretty expensive options with a range from 350 to 450 euro. The Garmin Venue 2 Plus would be the best you can get from Garmin, and the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro would be a good choice if you want to go with the Huawei brand. On both you get a very good and accurate health tracking and one of the best built-in GPS in my opinion. Now, if you don't need a super accurate GPS and a good health tracking with lots of smart features, you can go with the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 or 5, the Google Pixel Watch, or Fitbit watches. So before you buy a smartwatch, think about what you need for it. And as for last, you have to look at the price tag, of course, and what you want to spend, and the overall design of the watch. I think I mentioned enough about smartwatch prices, but when it comes to the design, you can basically look for a round or a square design. Apple Watches always have a square design, whereas smartwatches from the brand from Samsung or Fossil are always round. For basically a lot of other brands like Garmin and Huawei, you have a few options like with the Garmin Venue SQ or the Huawei Band 6. Those are square, but you can also get the Garmin Venue or Huawei Watch 3, which have a round design. But all of that comes down to your own preference. I like traditionally round watches more than I love square designs, but that's just me. And guys, that's already it for today. I hope I was able to help you a little bit with your decision when it comes to buying a smartwatch. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.